The narcissist always keeps tabs on their discarded victims, just to make sure that they left you to rot, just to make sure that you're crap and that they're doing better, and also to see if there's a way for them to weasel their way back in and steal more supply. Welcome back, warriors. My name is Kita, and you've tuned in to another exquisite episode of Psychopath Exposure, where we talk about narcissists, toxic relationships, and betrayal. Today I want to talk about the ultimate betrayal, which is when the narcissist not only severed, sabotaged, probably cheated on you when you guys were in a relationship, didn't want to have children, wanted to enjoy their life, gave you all this resistance, and then just a few months later, you discover that they're already engaged with someone that has children, and sometimes they already have them pregnant. I know that can be devastating to find out, which is why it's so important. I'm going to repeat it. It's so important that you guys go 100% no contact with your ex, especially if your ex is a psychopath or a narcissist, because they are going to flaunt their new relationship on social media as soon as possible. They're going to do it because they want you to suffer. They want you to see how much happier they are without you. They want you to feel that you were the reason why the relationship failed. And unfortunately, these narcissists tend to double down on all the things that they didn't want to give you, all the things that you wanted that they refused to do, or to do with you or to give you. But now all of a sudden, with the new supply, that's exactly what they're doing. You wanted to go to a vacation in Tahiti? Well, guess where they're taking their new supply, right? You wanted to have kids and they didn't? Guess what? Now they just knocked up the new supply. As a matter of fact, you just discovered that the new supply is already like 3 months pregnant, and you guys haven't even been broken up for a week. Right? They didn't want to get married because, they were players and they were afraid of commitment or whatever they told you, and all of a sudden there's an engagement already. How often does that happen? Most of the time it happens. So you can't continue staying friends. You can't continue following them on social media. You can't continue stalking them on social media, because only pain will you find. Now, I do want to point out how social media, why do people post on social media anyway? We post because we want validation. We post for everybody to see what we're doing. If we didn't care about people seeing, then we wouldn't post, because posting takes effort. You gotta get the picture all nice. You gotta set up your captions and your hashtags. Gotta make sure that picture has the right filter and is polished and is cropped and has the best angle. Not to mention, you have to go through the process of uploading it and posting it. You have the picture on your phone already. You can see it as many times as you want. Why go through the trouble of posting it? Because you want your friends and family to see that you're doing something cool. Come on. That's the reason social media works, because in a way we all like a little bit of attention. So kudos to those of you that have gotten off social media. Kudos to you guys that never have even opened an account on social media. Congratulations. It's unfortunate that that's the future and that's the way that society is going. And if you have a business, it's kind of like you have to have social media. You have to interact with your clients. You have to promote your services and your goods and your products. It's unfortunate. And then you're in there and you get distracted and the algorithm shows you some pictures or some videos, and before you know it, you're going down the rabbit hole, scrolling down, addicted to those few seconds of funny clips or whatever it is that draws your attention, and your brain is like, ooh, more. I want another hit. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. So social media altogether is a trap. And it's unfortunate that the narcissist uses it to cause pain to their discarded victim. But you know what? a lot of times, non-narcissists, maybe even you get a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend and you're so happy to be over and done with that narcissist ex of yours that you want to flaunt your new romantic interest, your new love partner on your social media because you're happy and you're like, yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to put pictures of my new one and then my life is getting better. And look at us, we're here. Look at us, we're there. But secretly, kind of wish that the narcissist kept tabs on you too. You kind of want them to see that you've moved on. Kind of want to get a little, it's like a little revenge by proxy. It's like, you're not sure if they're looking at your stuff, but you've watched enough videos to know that the narcissist always keeps tabs on their discarded victims. Just to make sure that they left you to rot. Just to make sure that you're crap and that they're doing better. And also, to see if there's a way for them to weasel their way back in and steal more supply. Whether it's money, whether it's sex, whatever it is that they were using you for, they always want to make sure that they can get back. So they're going to keep tabs on what you're doing. And sometimes they won't return for over a year. Sometimes 2 years. I've worked with some clients that tell me, Kita, had been 2 years that I didn't hear from him. And then he reached out one day and he contacted me and I fell for his game again. It's like, wow, 2 years. So those of you that are afraid that the psycho or the narcissist is going to call you a few weeks later after you've been ghosted or dumped and you're there waiting and a few weeks go by, a few months go by, eventually you're like, never going to hear from them again. Yeah. We'll see what happens when that engagement doesn't work out. We'll see what happens when they abandon their children. We'll see what happens when they have an affair on their new wife or husband. And then they come back to you as a friend to cry on your shoulder or to see if they can somehow get back. You know? That's the story. That's the playbook. It's like they all went to the same school and they all do the same shit. You know, I wanted to read a comment that came in from Rhonda that has to do with this situation, a similar situation. And she's, you know, it sounds like she's pulled away from it and grateful and living a better life now, which is what I want for all of you, because it is possible. And I know it's difficult. I mean, it took me a long time as well. And there was a time that I never even thought it was possible. But believe me, when you get there, you'll be like, wow. You're going to feel like a new person. It's just a great feeling and you accomplish so much and nothing scares you anymore. When you've been entangled with a psychopath narcissist and you get out of that, it's like nothing else scares you. And I mean, maybe a tsunami or something like that, but a natural disaster, but nothing else. You've been through the worst. You've slept with Satan. You know, you've had to look evil in the eye. What else is going to happen out there that you can't handle? That's why it's so important to do the work and to rebuild your self-esteem and your confidence. Okay, because you will be tested. In life, you will be tested again. And when you have that, when you're oozing with confidence that you already handled a situation like that, you'll be okay. And knowing that you're going to be okay is what gets you, is what accelerates that healing process, because the trauma stays with you. The trauma stays with you, but the more confidence you have and the more you're able to solve problems as they come, the more you're able to face your fear, the more you're able to deal with that anxiety and feel it and go do the thing you need to do anyway. And the more, or not the more easier, but the easier, because that's bad grammar, the easier things become. And you're more present to the moment because you're not always looking into the future with fear and paranoia. You're able to enjoy the present and you have that confidence that, hey, whatever happens, you know, everyone goes through challenges. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to solve it, you know, and then that's going to propel me into a higher place. That the lesson that I learned there is going to help me raise my frequency, raise my vibration, you know, get into a new paradigm, a higher paradigm where you have better problems, right? Because it's all about having better problems, improving the quality of your problems, all right? And a narcissist shouldn't be a high quality problem. That's a low tier problem. Okay, when you get out of this, you realize that this was like so low vibration, just so toxic that you don't want any part of these problems. All right, let me just get into the comment real quick before we're out of time. So Rhonda says, I was shocked for a day after finding out that 4 months later he's already engaged to someone else who has 2 young children, especially since he always screamed at me for getting pregnant and having his son. He would scream that he didn't want to raise children and he wanted to be able to enjoy life. Let me stop right there for a second. How can you scream at your woman for getting pregnant? And you had his kid, and he was still giving you bad vibes about it. He was still giving you a hard time about it. I mean, that's just a cruel, that's just a monster. Who does that? I mean, who the hell wants to be in a relationship with someone like that? That's your son. Both of your son, and he's already rejecting it. And I mean, that's just horrible, horrible. However, then I realized I no longer have to worry about being stalked or constantly being called a liar and a cheater and all the other verbal and physical abuse. So it sounds like he was projecting what he was onto you. I'm happier and healthier than I have ever been. Him being with her is literally the best thing that has ever happened, because now I also know there is a maternal influence around that will also be able to protect my son from his father's rages and generally miserable attitude and personality. Life is good. God is good all the time. And yeah, it is. It really is. Thanks for commenting, Rhonda. I'm sorry you had to experience that. That's traumatizing as it is. Just, you know, you get pregnant. It should be a happy moment. You know, you're about to have your son, and this man is like, he has just no empathy and no love in his heart. You see that? It's crazy. But you know, it's funny because now he's already engaged to someone else and this person already has kids, right? You see, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense, and that instability is what you can't have around you. So, you know, rejoice that it worked out this way, because now he's out. Now you get to raise your son in a much better way, a much better home environment, without that toxic energy, without those rage fits, without that impending doom that you probably felt around them, and obviously without all that devaluation and verbal abuse. Like, remember, your son is noticing that. Your son sees that. He absorbs that as a sponge, and that creates trauma as well for the children. And you know, you don't want them growing up with this type of trauma and then either becoming narcissistic themselves or just becoming victims of narcissists, because a lot of these things, you know, it starts from childhood. The things you experience, the trauma you picked up and absorbed, it's pretty sick. So you see how things work out. Even though it was a bad situation, it turned out to be the best possible situation, because this is not a good father for your kid. This is not a good father for your kid. And I feel bad for the new supply, because now he's going to infect those children with his dark energy, and he's going to drive her crazy too. So I'm glad you're out. I would advise, do not keep checking up on them. I don't know how you know this information, but it's best that you don't know any more about it. Just live your life, heal, get better, raise your kid, and never look back. Don't worry about who he's with. Don't worry about if that relationship fell apart. Just keep doing you. All right? So that's all I got for today, guys. If you have any questions or any comments on this particular situation, I would love to hear your story in the comments, and as usual, I will highlight probably the best one and make a video about it. But if you've been in a situation like that where your narcissist partner was completely against something, whether it was children, whether it was travel, whether it was a certain, I don't know, a certain type of food, right? And now they have the new supply, and all they do is do those things that they denied you of. I know it hurts, but you see how it's not genuine. They're probably doing those things because they took notes and they realized, that's what would make this person happy. So I guess that's what would make everybody happy. So the new supply, I'm going to take them here, I'm going to take them there. Everything my ex wanted to do, that's what I'm going to do, because that must be the key to keeping my source of supply happy, right? So they're going to try that out, not realizing that the new supply may not even like those things. They have things that they like to do that the narcissist is probably denying them of doing right now, because now they're fixated on doing all these other things. And you don't have context. All you're doing is hearing from a friend, or sometimes from the narcissist himself, that likes to give you information that you don't need to hear just to spite you. Or maybe you're checking up on the social media and you're just seeing pictures and videos without context. You don't know what's really going on behind the scene. They're not happy, okay? They're not walking into the sunrise, into the sunset, sunrise. They're not walking into the sunset together happily ever after, okay? That's BS. So yeah, that's all I got for today. I'm rambling, so thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. My name is Kita. This is Psychopath Exposure. I'd love to see you guys in the next video. So hang in there and we'll talk soon.